today, whether you're at home or school, we'd spend some time looking and thinking and exploring sound, how it's made and how we can use it to make some instruments and some toys. So the first thing we're going to do is think about how sound's made. And for this, the good news is you get to make some sounds. So pick a sound to make. Maybe you're going to be laughing or singing or humming or just talking. So choose your sound. As you begin to make the sound, take your fingers and just very gently place them at your throat and make the sound. Maybe you're like me, talking, maybe you're humming, maybe you're singing. Can you feel something moving in your throat when you make a sound? When you stop, that movement stops. What's happening here is your vocal cords, part of your body, very elastic cords in your throat, and as you pass air over them, as you breathe and speak and sing and hum, those cords are vibrating or shaking, and that's making the sound that we can hear. To look at it more closely, we might look at something else elastic, and that's elastic bands. I've got them stretched here over this baking tray. You could use a box or piece of wood, whatever you have to hand. I've got two different thicknesses of elastic band there, and I've got a piece of wood holding the band off the surface of the baking tray. A bit like when our vocal cords were vibrating, I'm going to pluck these elastic bands, and you can look and hear what's happening. Can you see the elastic bands vibrating, and can you hear the sound? Just like our vocal cords vibrating, we could hear the sound of our singing or our humming or our talking. What I've got here are two different thicknesses of elastic band. And can you hear something different between the two of them? Hope you can hear a difference in what we call the pitch, how high or how low a sound is. And generally, the thinner string here has the higher pitch, and the thicker string here has the lower pitch. This is the same for instruments that use strings, like a guitar, or a double bass, or a violin. And the person playing it can tune or adjust the pitch by making the string looser or tighter. You can investigate that with your own elastic bands and your own instrument. Maybe make a tissue box guitar to play a tune on. So that's the idea for that one. The same idea about using strings, or in this case some fishing line, to make an instrument is pretty much the same. I've got here a poster tube, or any tube would do. I've got the strings, or fishing line, and rather than a wooden block, I've got a bottle here to lift those strings off the surface. I'm going to start plucking and playing my instrument here. Can you hear the difference in the pitch? And can you also see the vibration of the string as I'm plucking it? There's some very weird and wonderful sounds you can make today with very simple things. That's a very thin string or fishing line. I've got some thicker strings here, and again, let's do the same thing. You could play a tune and ask someone to guess what tune you're playing. So here we've got slightly thicker strings. Did you hear a deeper note, a lower note from those thicker strings? So very simple things to try yourself. Find some things that are lying around the house, ask the adult to help you make those, and then get playing with your elastic band or with your poster tube double bass. I'll put those onto one side. Now so far we've been thinking about the vibrations, making a sound, and the sound reaching our ears. and you probably know that the sound travelled in waves from the vibrating string or vocal cords to our ears by travelling through the gases in the air. At this point, I'm going to invite Ewan, my colleague, here to help me. So we talked about sound travelling through the gases in the air and through liquid, and let's experiment and try to find out if sound travels through a solid. Solid string, solid plastic, and solid skull. So, put the poster end tube against your ear, and the other person does the same, and pull the string quite tight. Now we're going to pluck the string and ask our third person to come quite close. You pluck, Ewan. Now, the person standing close by, with the air between them, can't really hear a very loud sound. However, I think Ewan would agree that the sound that we can hear through the solid string, to plastic and our skulls is really surprisingly loud. Very loud. Try that yourself. You could use a string version, which is quite easy, or you could use, this one's got some fishing line and some larger poster end tubes. This one's amazing. I'm playing Guns N' Roses, did you get that?
I thought I
You could
recognised.
even go backwards and forwards, like staccato, like with a violin. So pretty amazing. But you need a third person to check that actually through the air, the sound waves do not travel as efficiently. But through the solid media, amazingly efficiently, and much louder sound. I wonder if I can hear something in the distance. Maybe something clucking. Maybe something like a clucking cup. Can you hear that? Hello, clucking cup. Thanks for coming along today. We're going to show people how to make you. Now, can you hear the clucking of that cup? Interesting. How's it working? It's obviously there's some vibrating going on. There's a string involved. So I'm thinking, we talked earlier about the string, about the vibrations of the elastic band and the string of the guitar there. I've got a piece of string here, like the string on the clucking cup. Let's try plucking that and listening. Can you hear that? It's quite quiet. It's vibrating, so I can see it vibrating, and I can hear the sound. It's not very loud. I wonder if I could do something to make that sound louder. What we're going to do is to take our string, tie a knot in the end. Just one knot's all you need. You could try different strings. I've got here some garden twine. Any string will do. Make sure that your string is long enough to go into your cup, and again, you could use any cup you like. A paper cup's great, a plastic cup. What you will need to do is to make a hole in the end of the cup. If it's a paper one, perhaps you could help the adult. With a plastic cup, it's slightly trickier, so maybe the adult could do that for you with a piece of blue tack and something sharp. But again, ask for help to get that done. We're going to thread the string through, so make sure your string is long enough to come out the end of your cup. Now, depending on how big the hole is, depends on how many knots you're going to tie. So I found a better way of making it simple and quick. So tie one knot in the end of your string, and then just split the string, and you should find the different bits of string separate and leave a space there to put, in this case, a piece of paper straw. And that means that when you thread it through the cup, through the big hole, it shouldn't come through easily. So can you see there? It's held nicely in place. You might want to use sellotape to tape that in place. Just going to tape that in place. And then, here is one with a plastic cup. You can see through that one. Easier. It's going to tape that piece of straw in place there. Again, you can take your time doing this. You'll have more time than me. You can think about decorating your cup a bit later. So for now, I'm just going to get the end of the tape, and here it is. So it's the hardest part of anything, is to get the end of the tape. I think I find that quite hard often. There it is. Just tape that in place there, so the straw won't move around. And you can see then, already I've got a difference in the loudness of the sound. Before, with my string by itself, I wasn't hearing a very loud sound. If you remember, it's the same string. By attaching it to the cup, I've now got a much louder sound. Can you hear that clicking? What's happening as the string is vibrating, it's making a sound, but now the air and the cup are also vibrating. That's making it louder. We call that in science amplified or amplification. It's much louder now. I can definitely hear it, can you? At that point, think about decorating your clucking cup. Mine's got some pipe cleaner feet, a beak made of paper, some wiggly eyes and feathers. You might want to pluck the cup rather than cluck it. Can you hear that? So again, that vibration causing a sound and the air and the cup vibrating as well and making it louder. Now, something else fun to try is to take your clucking cup you've made, a piece of fabric, like a bit of duster I've got here, or some cloth, whatever you've got, dip it in some water or get your fingers wet. I'm going to see what difference that makes to the sound I'm making, or the string's making in this case. In this case, I'm going to pull it down the string. Can you hear the difference there? Amazing. So by wetting it there, we've changed the kind of sound it's making. A nice way of doing that and making a different sound. So you might also wish to pull the duster down the string. That's quite a loud sound. Can you hear that? So again, you can decide what kind of animal that might be. Maybe a barking dog, maybe a clucking cup. You can decide. So if you haven't got any feathers around, that's absolutely fine. What I've done is to make some feathers using some tissue paper or any coloured paper or plain white paper, and you can colour it in yourself. So what I've done is just take scissors, just taken some bits of paper there, just cut that into a feather shape. I'm going to make some cuts just carefully. You could ask someone to help you with this if you're not sure. You want some help with this, that's fine. And then you'll find you've got some nice feather shapes to stick onto your cup. You'll have more time than me, but you could stick them onto your cup to make wings and a tail. You could also use some, like I have, some paper here to make a beak. If you've got some wiggly eyes like I have, that's fine. If you haven't, why not use just some white paper circles or stickers. Just put a couple of black dots there to represent the pupils. You can stick those onto your clucking cup, however you like it to be. There are the eyes, and again you can see how you can put lots of feathers on the side to make your very own clucking cup. So that's an idea there, thinking about how the string vibrates, makes the sound, and the air in the cup make that louder for us to hear, or amplifies it. So we wondered maybe if you would like to make a much larger clucking cup, like the one I have here. We've used a flower pot with a hole in the end and decorate it. This is a lot of fun. So you put your head inside. Oh my goodness, there's a very loud clucking coming from inside this cup. So again, you can make that yourself with adults helping you. Wow, that's quite a loud clucking coming from that cup. So lots of fun to have there. Hope you enjoyed that little video and you can see yourself exploring sound wherever you are and making your very own clucking cup. Thanks for taking part and take care.